Hello, guys. Welcome back to my channel. So if you guys want to see more video, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos. I also have a lot of exciting news to share with you guys, but I'm gonna save that for my next video. Thank you guys so much for your support and for being patient. You descend, leaving behind the familiar blues and greens of the surface world. The twilight zone, that mesopelagic layer, is where the last vestiges of sunlight struggle to penetrate, painting the water in ghostly hues of indigo and violet. Here, strange forms drift past, creatures with eyes bigger than their bodies, designed to snatch every stray photon, or perhaps, with no eyes at all, navigating by other, more mysterious senses. You realize, pretty quickly, that the ocean isn't just a big bathtub full of water. It's a living, breathing entity, a massive, interconnected system that holds more mysteries than all the dusty libraries on land combined. For millennia, the deep ocean has been the ultimate unknown, a blank canvas for human imagination and terror. Think about it. Before we had submersibles or even rudimentary diving bells, what did people know of the deep? Only what washed ashore, or what was holed up in nets. And what did they see? Giant squids, sometimes, their eyes like dinner plates, or grotesque, unidentifiable fish, bloated and strangely colored from the pressure changes. It was enough to fuel nightmares and fantastic tales. You can imagine the ancient Phoenician sailors navigating by starlight, whispering about the kraken, a beast so vast it could pull down entire ships, or the multi-headed hydra, lurking in submerged caves. These weren't just stories to them. They were explanations for the inexplicable, for ships lost without a trace, for the sudden, terrifying roar of the sea during a storm. Even Pliny the Elder, back in the 1st century AD, recounted tales of gigantic sea monsters, some so big they were mistaken for islands. Now, we know many of these were likely exaggerated sightings of whales or colossal squid. But the asterisk mystery asterisk was very real. For the longest time, the deep sea was considered a barren, lifeless abyss. Scientists, for centuries, largely believed that nothing could possibly survive the crushing pressure, the eternal darkness, and the icy cold depths beyond a few hundred meters. It was a neat, tidy theory, fitting snugly into the understanding of life that centered on sunlight and warmth. But then, as humanity's technological prowess slowly, clumsily, began to poke around below the surface, that theory started to spring leaks faster than a rusty submarine. The first real cracks in this assumption came in the mid-19th century. Imagine this scene. Scientists aboard the HMS Challenger asterisk, a ship that would famously circumnavigate the globe between 1872 and 1876, performing the first true oceanographic expedition. They were dragging dredges, these big, clunky nets, down into depths previously thought to be devoid of life. And what did they pull up? Living creatures, weird, wonderful, utterly alien organisms from depths of thousands of meters. It was a mind-blowing revelation. Like finding a bustling city on the moon when you expected nothing but barren rock. You can almost hear the excited chatter, the disbelief mixed with awe, as they examined creatures that had never seen sunlight, evolving in a world completely separate from our own. Suddenly, The deep wasn't empty, it was just hidden. This wasn't some sudden eureka moment, though. It was a gradual chipping away at ignorance, one dredge hole at a time. Before Challenger in 1860, the telegraph cable between Sardinia and North Africa broke at a depth of 2,000 meters. When it was eventually retrieved, scientists found corals and other creatures attached to it, proving that life existed far deeper than previously imagined. These were early, unintentional deep-sea explorers, you could say. Even earlier, in the 17th century, Cornelius Drebbel supposedly built one of the first navigable submarines for James I of England, allowing him to stay submerged for hours, while likely more an underwater rowboat than a true sub. The idea of delving below the waves was already taking root, but actually seeing the abyss, not just theorizing about it. That was the game changer. So, you continue your imagined descent. The blue is long gone, replaced by absolute, impenetrable blackness. Your eyes, if they were human eyes, would be useless here. This is the Absol Plain, a vast, flat expanse of mud and sediment that covers much of the ocean floor, thousands of meters down. The temperature hovers just above freezing, a constant, bone-chilling cold. The pressure, you remind yourself, is immense, literally tons per square inch. It's a place where gravity feels different, where movement is slow, deliberate, as if you're swimming through thick syrup. But then you start to notice things. Faint glimmers, flashes of light in the darkness. Bioluminescence. It's like being in a cosmic snow globe. But instead of snow, tiny, living stars drift past, winking in and out of existence. Here, light is not a given. It's a tool, a weapon, a lure. You see an anglerfish. It's grotesque, toothy maw hidden behind a dangling, glowing lure, patiently waiting for an unsuspecting meal to be drawn to its deadly light. It's the ultimate come-hither trick. But instead of a nice dinner, you dinner, or perhaps a dragonfish, its entire body covered in photophores, those light-producing organs, blinking like a Christmas tree from hell. The creatures down here are different. They often have translucent bodies, or are jet black or blood red, colors that are effectively invisible in the total absence of light. Many have massive, hinged jaws to swallow anything they encounter, because who knows when the next meal will come along in this food-scarce environment. You might encounter a goblin shark, a prehistoric-looking nightmare with a long, flattened snout and protrusible jaws that shoot out like a projectile to snatch prey, or a gulper eel, literally just a huge mouth attached to a thin tail, capable of swallowing prey much larger than itself. It's a world where adaptation isn't just about survival. It's about pushing the boundaries of what life can look like. And then, just as you think you've got a handle on the bizarre, something truly astonishing emerges from the darkness. A warm current. Impossible, you think. The deep ocean is freezing, but as you draw closer, a shimmering, hazy plume rises from the seafloor, carrying with it a faint scent of sulfur, and the water around it is noticeably warmer. This, you realize, is a hydrothermal vent, discovered relatively recently. In 1977, these vents completely upended our understanding of where and how life could exist. Imagine scientists on the submersible Alvin asterisk, a tiny, spherical vessel, barely big enough for its 3 occupants, plumbing the depths of the Pacific Ocean near the Galapagos Rift. They expected to find, well, nothing much, just barren, cold seafloor. Instead, they stumbled upon these volcanic vents, spewing superheated, mineral-rich water from cracks in the Earth's crust. And around them, bustling communities of life. These aren't just a few scattered creatures. These are vibrant, thriving ecosystems, utterly independent of sunlight. Think about it. Every other ecosystem on Earth relies, directly or indirectly, on the sun for energy through photosynthesis. But here, thousands of meters beneath the surface, life thrives on chemosynthesis. Microbes consume the chemicals pouring from the vents, hydrogen sulfide, methane, and convert them into energy, forming the base of a completely new food chain. You see giant tube worms, some over 2 meters tall, with bright red plumes waving in the currents, surrounded by white crabs, pale mussels, and strange, alien-looking fish. It's like finding an entire alien planet teeming with life, not in outer space, but just a few miles beneath your feet. It changed everything we knew about the origins of life, making scientists wonder if life might have first emerged in similar environments. On the early Earth, or even on other planets with subsurface oceans, historians still argue whether the Alvin crew fully grasped the magnitude of their discovery at first, or if it slowly dawned on them as they observed this impossible oasis. The hydrothermal vents also reminded us of the dynamic nature of the ocean floor itself. It's not a static bedrock, but a vast geological engine, constantly shifting, spreading, and creating new crust. These vents are often found along mid-ocean ridges, where tectonic plates pull apart, allowing magma to rise and seawater to seep into the cracks, getting heated to extreme temperatures before erupting back out. It's a fiery heart in the coldest, darkest depths. Speaking of geological activity, you might also stumble upon other strange formations. Take, for instance, the Yanaguni Monument off the coast of Japan. Is it a natural geological formation shaped by millennia of seismic activity and currents? Or is it, as some argue, a submerged ancient city, a forgotten civilization swallowed by the waves? You trace the angular lines, the terraces, the flat surfaces. The debate is fierce among scholars and enthusiasts. Geologists point to natural processes that can create similar structures, while proponents of the artificial theory highlight what appear to be carved steps, straight edges, and even what some interpret as a face. You float there, suspended in the cool water, weighing the arguments. It's one of those deep-sea mysteries that might never be fully resolved, adding another layer to the enigma of what lies beneath. What if, just what if, ancient civilizations were far more advanced than we give them credit for, capable of building structures that now lie hidden beneath the waves? Or perhaps it's just the ocean's subtle way of playing tricks on our pattern-seeking brains. And it's not just ancient cities. The deep sea is a graveyard of human ambition and tragedy. Shipwrecks litter the ocean floor, from ancient Roman trading vessels laden with amphorae, to powerful battleships sunk in forgotten wars, to famous luxury liners like the Titanic asterisk. Each one is a time capsule, preserving a moment in history, often tragically cut short. Imagine hovering over the Titanic asterisk herself, sitting upright on the Absol plane, nearly 4,000 meters down. The sheer scale of it, the ghostly presence, is overwhelming. Deck chairs are still neatly arranged. Porcelain teacups lie unbroken. Shoes sit where their owners kicked them off for the last time. The ocean, despite its destructive power, is also a surprisingly effective preserver in its cold, dark, oxygen-poor depths. Rusticles, those strange, icicle-like formations of rust, slowly consume the iron hull, turning the ship into a living, evolving reef. It's a slow, beautiful decay, but discovering these wrecks isn't easy. It requires cutting-edge sonar technology, remotely operated vehicles ROVs, and often a lot of patience and luck. For decades, the Titanic asterisk was a legend, a target for countless expeditions. Before Robert Ballard finally located it in 1985, the search for other lost vessels, like the ill-fated MH370 passenger jet, also highlights the immense challenges of deep-sea exploration. Vast areas, thousands of meters deep, need to be painstakingly surveyed, often for years. With little success, the ocean is just too big, too dark, too good at keeping its secrets. And what about the sounds? You become aware of the silence again, but then a low rumble, a faint groan. The ocean isn't always silent. In 1997, hydrophones, underwater microphones operated by the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration (NOAA) picked up one of the most famous and baffling deep-sea sounds, the bloop. It was an ultra-low frequency sound, so powerful it was detected across a range of 5,000 kilometers. The sound profile was unlike any known animal, including whales. It was too massive, too loud. Theories ranged from colossal, undiscovered creatures larger than any whale to massive icebergs calving in the Antarctic. While NOAA later attributed it to icequakes from large icebergs, the sheer power and mysterious nature of the bloop still fuels speculation. You can almost feel the vibrations traveling through the water, wondering what immense force could have created such a sound. It's a reminder that even the sounds down here are part of the mystery, echoing in the vast, dark emptiness. You continue to drift, your simulated submarine barely moving, conserving energy. You pass over vast stretches of what looks like undisturbed mud, mile after mile. But even here, life exists, albeit sparsely. Sea cucumbers crawl slowly, vacuuming up detritus. Brittle stars extend their spidery arms. It's a slow-motion world where the rules of life are rewritten. The pressure, constant and unyielding, shapes everything. Creatures are soft-bodied, often gelatinous, their bodies designed to withstand the immense squeeze. They don't have air-filled bladders or rigid skeletons that would be crushed. They are masterpieces of biological engineering, adapted to extremes that would instantly kill a human. Then there are the anomalies, sonar contacts that defy easy explanation, unidentified submersible objects USOs, the underwater equivalent of UFOs. While many can be explained away by equipment malfunction, natural phenomena, or military exercises, some remain stubbornly unidentifiable. Think of naval reports from Cold War submarines tracking something incredibly fast, incredibly agile, moving at impossible depths. While often dismissed by mainstream science, these fringe tidbits add to the mystique, hinting at technologies or life forms far beyond our current understanding. Are they advanced alien crafts? Or just our sensors misinterpreting signals in a complex environment? The deep ocean, with its vastness and opacity, is the perfect canvas for such speculation. It's so hard to observe directly that almost anything remains plausible until definitively disproven. And disproving something that vanishes into the abyss is, well, pretty much impossible. And disproving something that vanishes into the abyss is, well, pretty much impossible. This brings us to the ultimate disappearing act, the ocean's grandest illusion, the deepest point on Earth. You're descending again, past the Absol Plane, into the Hadal Zone, named after Hades, the Greek god of the underworld, because, really, what else would you call a place where the pressure is over 1,000 times at its sea level? We're talking about depths so profound that if Mount Everest were placed upside down into the Mariana Trench, its peak would still be more than a mile below the surface. Specifically, you're aiming for the * Challenger Deep *, the deepest known point, a crescent-shaped scar in the Pacific Ocean floor. The water here is just above freezing, dark, and still. Still, despite the immense pressure. Imagine that. It's like being at the bottom of a truly gigantic, unlit swimming pool, except the walls are miles away, and the surface is an entirely different world. If you were in a regular submarine, even a nuclear one, it would be crushed into a sparkling confetti of metal before you even got halfway down. This is the realm of the truly specialized, where engineering borders on the fantastical. For the longest time, reaching this deepest point was the holy grail of oceanography. Much like landing on the moon for space exploration, the first and arguably most daring successful manned descent into the * Challenger Deep * happened on January 23, 1960. To brave, probably slightly unhinged, men, Jacques Piccard, a Swiss oceanographer, and Don Walsh, AUS, Navy lieutenant. Their vessel, the *, a rather ungainly bathyscaphe, essentially a giant, gasoline-filled float with a small, spherical steel cabin hanging beneath it. Gasoline, surprisingly, is less dense than water, making it buoyant. Pretty clever, right? Though I can't imagine the smell. It took them nearly 5 hours to make the slow, agonizing descent. 5 hours in a cramped, cold, windowless sphere, listening to the creaks and groans of the hull as the pressure mounted. You can almost feel the tension in that tiny cabin, the sheer audacity of what they were attempting. This tiny observation was monumental. It proved that life could exist even at the most crushing depths, once again dismantling the notion of a barren abyss. It also raised serious questions about the proposed dumping of nuclear waste in the trench, as clearly, it wasn't a lifeless void where toxins would simply disappear. The ** dive was a triumph of human ingenuity and sheer guts, paving the way for further deep-sea exploration. Historians still chuckle about the understated report Walsh gave. Bottom, depth 35,800 feet. All instruments working well. Found flatfish. Peak scientific detachment. Folks. Fast forward to 2012, and another, perhaps more flamboyant, descent was made by filmmaker and adventurer James Cameron. Yes, James Cameron, director of Titanic and Avatar . He piloted his own custom-built submersible, the Deepsea Challenger a vertical torpedo-shaped craft designed for solo dives. He spent a few hours on the bottom, collected some samples, filmed some stunning 3D footage, and emerged with the same sense of awe and wonder. His dive, while more technologically advanced, mirrored the spirit of the pushing the boundaries of human presence. In the most extreme environment on Earth, you realize, floating here, that these aren't just scientific expeditions. They're pilgrimages into the very heart of the unknown, attempts to gaze upon the face of ultimate darkness. But the Challenger Deep isn't the only extreme environment down here. That makes you scratch your head, or your imaginary helmet, whatever. Remember those hydrothermal vents, those fiery oases of life? Well, the ocean has even stranger aquatic anomalies. Imagine, for a moment, not just a vent spewing hot water, but an underwater lake . Yeah, you heard that right. A lake under the ocean. These are known as brine pools, and they're found in various places, especially in the Gulf of Mexico. They're essentially depressions on the seafloor filled with water so incredibly salty and dense that it doesn't mix with the surrounding seawater. Think of it like a supersaturated solution, heavier than regular ocean water, forming distinct pools with visible shorelines, like bizarre, inverted puddles at the bottom of the world. The brine is often laced with methane and hydrogen sulfide, making it highly toxic to most deep-sea creatures. If a regular deep-sea fish swims into one of these brine pools, it's essentially poisoned and pickled instantly. A rather ignominious end, if you ask me. Yet, life thrives here too. But it's an even more specialized form of chemosynthesis. Mussels and tube worms cluster around the edges, their microbial symbionts feasting on the toxic chemicals, creating thriving ecosystems in what would otherwise be a dead zone. Scientists have even found zombie worms' official name, Ozdax*, which digest the bones of whale carcasses that fall into these pools. The deep ocean, where even the dead get a second chance to be food. It's a stark reminder that life, in its infinite stubbornness, will find a way, even in environments that would make a hazmat suit spontaneously combust. You float above one, peering into its shimmering, toxic depths. A bizarre mirror image of a terrestrial lake, albeit one that would melt your face off. And speaking of life, the sheer, unimaginable volume of undiscovered life down here is mind-boggling. We've explored less than 5% of the ocean. Think about that for a second. 95% remains a complete mystery. Scientists estimate that millions of species, from microbes to potentially large creatures, remain completely unknown to us. It's like having a library of 10 million books, but you've only ever read the first 5 pages of the first chapter. This massive uncharted biological territory is sometimes called biological dark matter. It's there. We know it's there. but we just can't see it yet. This vast unknown fuels our fascination with colossal, undiscovered creatures. Remember the bloop. While officially debunked as icequakes, the idea of something truly massive, something that makes blue whales look like guppies, still tantalizes. And why not? If we've only seen 5% of the ocean, who's to say what's lurking in the other 95%? The colossal squid, for instance, was only formally described by scientists in the early 21st century, despite legends of giant squid dating back millennia. Its eyes are the largest in the animal kingdom, bigger than a basketball, for crying out loud. And what about the megalodon? A prehistoric shark estimated to be up to 60 feet long, its jaws capable of crushing a car. While scientists generally agree it's extinct, the persistent thrill of a distant sighting, a blurry photo, or a massive tooth dredged up from impossible depths keeps the legend alive. You can't help but wonder, drifting in the perpetual night, what leviathans, what impossible shapes, might be silently cruising through the inky blackness, utterly oblivious to the existence of surface dwellers. The silence, however, isn't always silent, as we discussed. It's punctuated by life, by geology, and increasingly by us. Beyond the bloop, hydrophones have picked up countless other strange sounds. There's the low, rhythmic thrum of distant whale songs, some so deep they carry for thousands of miles. The clicks and whistles of dolphins and porpoises, communicating in their own complex language. The eerie creaking and groaning of melting icebergs in the polar regions, like a symphony of geological giants. The occasional, violent roar of a submarine earthquake, sending shockwaves through the water. It's a vibrant soundscape, often beyond the range of human hearing, but picked up by sensitive instruments. Then there are our asterisk sounds, the incessant hum of global shipping, a constant low-frequency drone that permeates vast swathes of the ocean. The sharp, piercing pings of military sonar, designed to detect submarines, but also capable of disorienting and even harming marine mammals. The explosive thumps of seismic surveys, used by oil and gas companies to map geological formations beneath the seafloor, literally blasting sound waves through the water to create echoes. You hear it now, a faint, distant asterisk thump 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 asterisk, like a giant, clumsy heart beating far away. This noise pollution, a constant auditory assault, interferes with marine animals' ability to navigate, find food, and communicate, disrupting their delicate lives in ways we're only just beginning to understand. It's a grim irony. We explore the deep, but in doing so, we change it, perhaps irrevocably, with our noisy, intrusive presence. And our presence isn't just auditory. The deep sea, once considered inviolable, is now seen as the next great frontier for resource extraction. Deep sea mining. It sounds like something out of a science fiction novel, but it's very real and very much on the horizon. As terrestrial mineral reserves dwindle and demand for rare earth elements, copper, nickel, and cobalt skyrockets thanks electric cars and smartphones, humanity is turning its hungry gaze downwards. Imagine this. Vast areas of the Absol Plain are littered with manganese nodules. These are potato-sized lumps of rock, rich in manganese, iron, nickel, copper, and cobalt. Formed over millions of years by the slow precipitation of metals from seawater. They just sit there, waiting to be scooped up. Then there are the polymetallic sulfides, found at active and inactive hydrothermal vents. These are chimney-like structures, sometimes towering hundreds of feet high, built from concentrated minerals spewed out by the vents. And finally, cobalt-rich crusts, found on underwater seamounts and ridges, basically mineral layers deposited on rock. They're like nature's own mining deposits, just sitting there, ripe for the taking. The technology is still developing, but it generally involves massive robotic vehicles, sometimes called collectors, crawling across the seafloor, vacuuming up nodules or grinding away at sulfide deposits. The collected material is then pumped up thousands of meters through risers to surface vessels for processing. The scale of the operations being proposed is immense, aiming to harvest millions of tons of material annually. But here's the rub, and it's a big, thorny, ethical rub. The deep sea, as you've seen, is not a barren wasteland. Those manganese nodules are home to unique microbial communities and serve as habitat for a variety of deep-sea creatures. Those hydrothermal vents, they are bustling, unique ecosystems, often home to species found nowhere else on Earth. Mining these areas would literally crush, bury, and churn up these fragile environments, destroying habitats that have taken millennia to form. The sediment plumes stirred up by the mining vehicles could spread for miles, suffocating filter feeders and blocking out what little light might exist from bioluminescence. And the noise? It would be a constant, deafening roar to creatures that rely on sound for survival. Scientists and environmentalists are sounding the alarm. They argue that we know so little about these ecosystems that we can possibly predict the long-term consequences of disturbing them. Many deep-sea species are slow-growing, reproduce infrequently, and live incredibly long lives, meaning they would take centuries, if not millennia, to recover from such devastation if they ever could. It's a classic ethical dilemma. Do we exploit the last untouched wilderness for human gain? Or do we protect it, acknowledging its intrinsic value and our profound ignorance? You drift past an imagined deep-sea miner, a monstrous, glowing machine tearing up the seafloor, and it feels like watching a pristine alien landscape being strip-mined for trinkets. Who even has the right to mine the deep sea? That's another incredibly complex question. Much of the deep ocean, particularly the absalt plains beyond national jurisdictions, is considered the common heritage of mankind under international law. This means it belongs to no one and everyone. The International Seabed Authority, ESA, an intergovernmental body established by the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea UNCLOS, is tasked with regulating mineral-related activities in the international seabed area and ensuring the effective protection of the marine environment. They rate trying to balance the potential benefits of accessing these resources with the urgent need for conservation. It's a bureaucratic nightmare trying to legislate for a part of the planet we barely understand, all while various nations and corporations lobby hard for their economic interests. The negotiations are slower than a gulper eel in molasses. So, as you continue your slow, sleepy drift through the inky blackness, you realize the deep ocean isn't just a physical place. It's a mirror reflecting humanity's evolving relationship with its planet. It's a frontier of scientific discovery, where every new finding rewrites textbooks and expands our understanding of life itself. It's a vast repository of history, holding the sunken remains of forgotten eras. And it's also a battleground, a place where the insatiable human demand for resources clashes with the desperate need to protect the last truly wild places. The future of deep-sea exploration is likely to be driven by autonomous underwater vehicles, AUVs, and more sophisticated remotely operated vehicles, ROVs. Robots doing the dirty work, taking the risks, exploring areas too dangerous or remote for humans. Imagine swarms of intelligent, silent drones mapping every inch of the seafloor, discovering new species, identifying new geological features, and maybe, just maybe, finding those elusive USOs, or perhaps even something weirder. They might even find evidence of past life on other planets, right here on Earth, in environments that mimic those believed to exist beneath the icy moons of Jupiter or Saturn. The possibilities are as vast as the ocean itself. But alongside this technological marvel, there's the looming shadow of exploitation. Will we learn from our mistakes on land, or will we repeat them, leaving behind a scarred, silenced deep ocean in our relentless pursuit of progress? The debate rages on, quiet whispers in the vast, dark emptiness that is the deep sea. You've journeyed through crushing pressures, searing heat, toxic lakes, and endless darkness. You've met creatures from nightmares and dreams, witnessed ecosystems that defy our understanding of life, and touched upon mysteries that may never be solved. The deep ocean is not just a place of wonder. It's a testament to the resilience of life, the power of geology, and the boundless limits of human curiosity and ambition. It calls to us, this final frontier, challenging us to understand it, and perhaps, more importantly, to respect it. You feel a subtle shift in the water pressure. A faint, almost imperceptible current begins to pull you, slowly at first, then with a more determined tug, away from the flat Absol plain. You're being drawn towards something, a new topography emerging from the blackness. The floor begins to slope upwards, subtly at first, then more steeply. The mud and sediment give way to rugged rock formations, jagged peaks, and deep crevices, hinting at a more violent geological past. It's not the smooth, endless plain anymore. This is a mountain range, underwater, a hidden spine of the earth rising from the abyss. And as you drift closer, the faint shimmer of bioluminescence intensifies. Not just individual flashes, but a collective glow. A vast tapestry of living light that hints at an utterly massive, teeming ecosystem nestled among these submerged peaks. The temperature fluctuates ever so slightly, a fleeting warmth that hints at something more than just typical deep-sea currents. It feels alive, pulsating, like a giant, dormant organism slowly awakening. You can almost feel the vibrations through your simulated hull, a low, resonant thrum that wasn't there before. Something deep within the very structure of these underwater mountains. What could generate such a sustained, powerful vibration in a realm where even sound travels slowly? You brace yourself, or rather, your imaginary vessel braces itself, for whatever astonishing spectacle or terrifying encounter awaits you amongst these towering, unseen peaks. The light grows brighter, revealing hints of colossal, ancient structures, not geological, but carved. The light grows brighter, revealing hints of colossal, ancient structures, not geological, but carved, and not just crudely carved, like a child's first attempt at sculpture. No, these are meticulously shaped, with precise angles and sweeping curves that seem utterly impossible given the crushing pressures. You glide closer, the thrumming growing stronger, resonating not just through your imaginary hull, but through your very core, a deep, almost biological rhythm. It's like standing next to a sleeping giant, feeling its slow, immense breath. What you're seeing isn't a natural mountain range at all, but City, a colossal, sprawling metropolis of obsidian darkstone, seemingly grown from the seafloor itself, but undeniably artificial. It stretches beyond the reach of your simulated lights, a vast, shadowy silhouette against the increasing glow of its own internal luminescence. The light isn't coming from bioluminescent creatures, not exactly. It's emanating from the structures themselves, a soft, ethereal blue-green pulse that seems to originate from within the very stone, seeping out through intricate patterns and what look like vast, unlit windows. It's not a violent, harsh light, but a gentle, hypnotic pulse, like a million fireflies breathing in unison. The carvings, the carvings. They are utterly alien, unlike anything you've ever seen. Not hieroglyphs, not cuneiform, not even the geometric patterns of the Yanaguni monument. These are flowing, organic designs, complex spirals interweaving with rigid, angular symbols, hinting at a language or a form of communication entirely beyond human comprehension. Some etchings seem to depict bizarre, multi-limbed creatures that defy classification, while others hint at impossible celestial alignments. It's also vast, so incredibly detailed you can almost hear the ghostly echoes of the tools that shaped them millennia ago in a time when our ancestors were still figuring out how to make fire without singeing their eyebrows. Historians, if they ever saw this, would likely spontaneously combust from cognitive dissonance. This isn't just a sunken city. It's an entire civilization, preserved in a state of suspended animation by the crushing depths and eternal darkness. The sheer scale of it suggests an unimaginable population, an advanced society that built on a monumental level. We talk about the pyramids, the Roman Colosseum, Angkor Wat, human achievements that boggle the mind. But those are mere sandcastles compared to this. A feat of engineering that defies our understanding of physics, let alone ancient technology. Who built this? And when asterisk. The age of the city is probably the first question that would hit any sane scientist. Carbon dating is out, of course, on stone, but the sediment layers around it, the geological context, it would suggest an age that would make the pyramids look like they were built last Tuesday. We're talking millions of years, perhaps. A civilization that predates humanity by an incomprehensible margin, or one that coexisted in a form we simply haven't conceived of. Suddenly, Plato's Atlantis doesn't seem so mythical, does it? Though this place looks less like a glamorous, decadent city-state and more like a sublime, monumental, and somewhat terrifying alien cathedral. As you navigate closer, you notice that some of the vast, glowing windows are not just emitting light, They are asterisk breathing asterisk. No, really. They subtly expand and contract, drawing in the frigid, high-pressure water and expelling it with that rhythmic thrum. This is the source of the vibrations you felt earlier, a vast, internal system that keeps the city alive, somehow, is an active, pulsating entity, not just a dead ruin. And as for the light, it seems to be a byproduct of this process, perhaps an energy signature, or even a form of biological communication, like a city-sized mood ring. Life here is different too. Not the usual deep-sea denizens. Surrounding the structures are creatures that seem almost symbiotic with the city itself. Transparent, shimmering beings, unlike any known fish or invertebrate, drift lazily through the illuminated pathways, their bodies catching and refracting the glowing blue-green light. They move with an unnatural grace, almost as if they are part of the light, solidified fragments of its energy. Some are like living chandeliers, their forms intricate and delicate, glowing with an internal fire that waxes and wanes with the city's pulse. Others are colossal, shadowy shapes that occasionally pass through the periphery of your vision. Too large to fully comprehend, their outlines barely visible against the stone. These aren't just animals, they're something else. Guardians, descendants of the builders, or perhaps simply products of this unique, impossible ecosystem. You see what appear to be vast, open plazas, intricately paved with the same dark, luminous stone. There are towering spires that pierce the inky blackness above, their tips lost in the gloom, and expansive, domed structures, some intact, others partially collapsed, revealing glimpses of glowing interiors. It's all a testament to a lost people, or asterisk things asterisk, whose lives were intrinsically linked to the depths. They didn't just asterisk live asterisk here. They asterisk were asterisk of here. The thought hits you, if this city is active, if it's still asterisk breathing asterisk, what does that mean for its inhabitants? Are they still here, deep within its glowing heart? Or is this merely an automated relic, a ghost town kept alive by ancient machinery? The very air around you, or water, rather feels thick with questions. A pressure even more intense than the Absol squeeze. You consider the colossal implications. Every human history book, every theory of civilization, every archaeological discovery would be rendered utterly meaningless. It's like finding out humans aren't the only intelligent species on Earth, but that a far more ancient, sophisticated one has been living literally asterisk under asterisk our noses for eons, and doing it without any reality TV, which frankly makes them superior already. The scientific community, if they ever caught wind of this, would be in an absolute frenzy. Forget the bloop, forget deep-sea mining, forget MH370. This would be the discovery of a lifetime, or rather, 1,000 lifetimes. But who would believe it? The challenges of even asterisk documenting asterisk this would be immense. The pressure alone would destroy most equipment. Imagine trying to scan a city this size of, say, New York, but thousands of meters underwater, in perpetual darkness, with unknown power sources and potentially hostile or just incredibly weird inhabitants. Good luck getting grant funding for that asterisk expedition. Just trust me, Dr. Jenkins. There's a glowing alien city down there, and it breathes. The international political implications would be even messier than deep-sea mining. Who owns this? Is it common heritage of mankind if it was built by non-mankind? Would nations race to claim it, to decipher its secrets, to harness its power? Or would the sheer existential dread of discovering a civilization far older and more advanced than our own lead to global panic and a desperate attempt to cover it up? You can almost hear the frantic phone calls, the emergency UN sessions, the classified memos flying across oceans like panicked fish. It's enough to make a deep-sea mollusk curl up in its shell. As you draw closer to one of the massive, domed structures, you notice a subtle shift in the water. It's not just the temperature fluctuations anymore. It's a faint, almost imperceptible current being drawn into the structure, like a massive, slow-motion intake valve. And from within, that rhythmic thump grows even more pronounced, accompanied now by a very low, resonant hum, a sound that vibrates more than it registers as audible. It's deep, beyond the range of human hearing, yet you feel it. It's the sound of power, of ancient mechanisms at work, relentlessly, patiently. You recall the whispers of unidentified submersible objects USOs, those mysterious, impossibly fast, impossibly deep craft tracked by military sonar. What if some of those weren't alien spacecraft, but rather the vehicles of this deep-dwelling civilization? Or perhaps they are alien, but they found refuge here, adapting to Earth's most extreme environment. The deep ocean, a natural hiding place, a vast, opaque veil beneath which secrets can lie undisturbed for eons. It's the ultimate do not disturb sign, ignored only by the most persistent and fortunate of explorers. And today, that's you. This place isn't just an archaeological site. It's a living mystery. Imagine the information stored within these walls, the technologies, the history, the scientific understanding. What if their knowledge could solve humanity's greatest problems, or unleash new ones? What if they understood the universe in a way we can only dream of? Or what if, and this is the truly unsettling thought, they simply don't care about us at all? We're the surface dwellers, the noisy, fleeting creatures who squabble over land and shallow seas. To them, we might be nothing more than a curious, ephemeral phenomenon, like bioluminescent plankton that occasionally drifts too close to the surface. You float to what appears to be a main thoroughfare, a wide, sweeping boulevard carved into the stone, lined with smaller, more intricate structures that might have been dwellings or public buildings. The light here is particularly intense, casting long, distorted shadows that dance with the subtle currents. This isn't just a place of wonder, it's a place of profound humility. It makes you realize how utterly insignificant human history might be in the grand scheme of planetary time. We've been here for a blink, and this has been here for unimaginable ages. The concept of a truly ancient, non-human civilization existing alongside us, hidden in plain sight, or rather, in plain depth, would fundamentally alter our understanding of intelligence, evolution, and even consciousness. It makes you wonder, did they influence early human myths? Did a few rare sightings of their structures or vehicles contribute to legends of sea monsters or gods from the deep, the kraken, the hydra, the very idea of Atlantis? Were these just flights of fancy, or distant, distorted memories of something truly real? Something so profound it was relegated to myth simply because it defied all rational explanation. Pliny the Elder's giant sea monsters start to look a lot less like exaggerated whales, and a lot more like things you're seeing now. The sheer technological marvel of maintaining a complex ecosystem and potentially an entire civilization at these depths is mind-boggling. Think about the material science alone, a substance capable of withstanding hundreds, if not thousands, of atmospheres of pressure, resisting corrosion for millions of years. And somehow, asterisk glowing asterisk and asterisk breathing asterisk, without obvious external power, we're still figuring out how to make a submarine that doesn't implode. After a few thousand meters, these guys were building entire cities. They clearly had their engineering PhDs sorted out. This discovery also brings into sharp relief the fragile nature of our own terrestrial existence. We live on the surface, exposed to the vagaries of climate, meteor strikes, and our own destructive tendencies. This deep-sea civilization, if it is still active, has found a sanctuary from all that, a stable, constant environment hidden from the chaos of the sunlit world. Perhaps they retreated here, or perhaps they originated here, never bothering with the chaotic, sun-drenched surface at all. It's a compelling thought. The ultimate introverts, just chilling in the dark, minding their own business. You try to imagine the deep-sea miners, those monstrous machines we discussed earlier, attempting to operate here. The absurdity is almost comical. They'd be crushed to bits, or perhaps simply absorbed into the city's glowing, pulsating fabric. This isn't a resource to be extracted. It's a living monument, a profound secret. The ethical debates would move beyond conservation to something far more fundamental. Do we have the right to disturb something so ancient, so utterly alien, so potentially asterisk alive asterisk? Or is its very existence a call for profound respect and non-interference? The debate over the Yanaguni monument, whether it was natural or artificial, seems utterly quaint now. This place leaves no room for doubt. This is a monument to intelligence, a testament to an unknown past. It's a direct challenge to human exceptionalism. A stark reminder that we are but one note in a potentially vast symphony of life and intelligence that has played out on this planet over eons. As you gaze deeper into the glowing labyrinth, the thrumming seems to intensify further. No longer just a distant beat, but a resonant hum that feels closer, more immediate. The blue-green light begins to pulse with more urgency, casting fleeting, intricate shadows across the ancient carved stone. It's as if the city itself is responding to your presence, acknowledging the intrusion, or perhaps awakening further. A thought flickers through your mind, unsettling and unwelcome. You're observing this from afar, a silent, invisible witness. But what if asterisk they asterisk are observing asterisk you asterisk? What if this increase in light and vibration isn't just a general response, but a specific, directed awareness of your simulated presence? What if those dark, unlit windows aren't empty, but merely unilluminated from within? The vastness, the antiquity, the sheer impossibility of it all suddenly takes on a slightly more ominous edge. You begin to notice other subtle details. On some of the vast wall surfaces, almost imperceptible until the light pulses in just the right way, are what appear to be openings. Not doors in the human sense, but seamless sections of the stone that seem capable of sliding away, revealing even deeper, glowing passages within. The hum draws you towards one such opening, a particularly large, arching gateway that seems to lead into the very heart of the largest domed structure. The light within is brighter still, a mesmerizing, almost blinding white at its core, pulsating with that relentless, powerful thrum. It beckons, a portal into the true secrets of this impossible civilization. The silence of the abyss, once profound, is now filled with the throbbing heartbeat of a world that was never meant to be discovered. And you, in your tiny, imaginary vessel, are poised at its threshold. What could possibly lie beyond that ancient, glowing archway, waiting in the heart of the world? You don't hesitate, not for a second. Curiosity, that insatiable, maddening human trait, overrides any instinct for self-preservation. Or maybe it's just the sleepiness talking, lulling you into a false sense of security, where impossible glowing cities are just another Tuesday night. Your imaginary vessel, bless its plucky heart, glides forward, drawn by an invisible current, or perhaps just the sheer magnetic pull of the unknown. As you pass through the archway, the seamless stone slides closed behind you with a faint, almost imperceptible asterisk chic asterisk. Not an actual sound, but a feeling of closure, of being sealed away from the vast, dark emptiness outside. The blue-green light that permeated the exterior now swirls around you, intensifying, becoming almost blindingly bright before mellowing into a softer, omnipresent glow that seems to emanate from the very air or water itself. It's like stepping into a nebulous cloud of pure light, a luminous fog that still somehow allows perfect visibility. The rhythmic thrum you felt outside now resonates through every molecule of your simulated craft. A deep, bassy hum that you don't just hear, but asterisk feel asterisk in your bones, vibrating up your spine. It's comforting in its regularity, yet undeniably powerful, hinting at colossal energies contained within. The water temperature here is noticeably warmer, too. Not hot, but a pleasant, almost body temperature warmth that defies all logic for the absol depths. It's as if the city maintains its own internal climate, a sealed biome thousands of meters beneath the waves. No wonder those translucent, shimmering creatures outside seem so at home. This isn't just a city. It's a meticulously controlled environment, an enormous, living, breathing machine. You find yourself in a vast, cylindrical chamber, stretching upwards and downwards beyond your visual range. Think of it like a gargantuan, vertically oriented cathedral, carved not from rock, but from some unknown, semi-translucent material that glows from within. There are no sharp corners here, no straight lines that go on forever. Everything is curved, organic, flowing like solidified water, yet possessing the strength of diamond. Intricate, luminous veins pulse with light along the walls, branching out like capillaries, funneling that ethereal glow to every corner of this impossible space. It's like being inside the circulatory system of a light-based organism, a truly alien experience. In the center of this colossal chamber, a spire of condensed light reaches from the unseen bottom to the invisible ceiling, swirling gently, a beacon of pure energy. It's not a solid object, but a column of intensely bright, pure white light, contained and shaped, like a celestial vortex. Around this central column, smaller, secondary spires of light occasionally flicker into existence, then dissipate like silent, graceful fireworks. You realize these aren't just decorative elements. This is the city's heart, its power source, its entire race on Diata, perhaps. This is what generates the thrum, the warmth, the light. It's a clean, quiet energy, unlike anything humanity has ever conceived. No burning of fossil fuels, no clunky fission reactors, just pure, contained light. Historians, bless their fact-obsessed hearts, would be utterly flummoxed trying to reconcile this with any known historical precedent. The sheer mastery of energy and material science displayed here makes our own technological achievements look like children playing with Lego bricks. Forget the Roman aqueducts. These guys figured out how to build a self-sustaining metropolis under unimaginable pressure, running on light, or whatever kind of energy produces that light. It is enough to make you wish you'd paid more attention in your high school physics class. Though I'm pretty sure glowing cities in the abyss wasn't covered. As you drift closer to the central light spire, you notice figures emerging from the luminous haze. They are the same translucent, shimmering beings you saw outside. But here, they seem more numerous, more substantial, and perhaps more purposeful. They move with fluid, dreamlike motions, their multi-limbed bodies twisting and turning, catching the light in 1,000 facets. They have no discernible faces, no obvious eyes, yet you feel a profound sense of intelligence emanating from them. Are these the original builders? Or are they the evolved descendants, perfectly adapted to this light-infused, high-pressure world? They are not, thankfully, wearing tiny deep-sea business suits or carrying briefcases. That would just be too much for your sleepy brain to handle. One of these beings, larger than the others, with a particularly intricate pattern of light pulsing beneath its translucent skin, drifts slowly towards your vessel. It stops a respectful distance away, its form shifting, contracting, then expanding, causing ripples of light to emanate outwards. You perceive this not as a threat, but as an attempt at communication, an inquisitive gesture. It's like a giant, living jellyfish trying to figure out if you're a new type of food or just really lost. You have no common language, no way to respond, but you simply float there, a curious observer, a tiny speck of surface life in a realm beyond comprehension. The being's pulsing light intensifies, and for a fleeting moment you perceive images. Within the swirling patterns, fleeting glimpses of vast cosmic vistas of nebulae and distant stars followed by images of what looks like early Earth volcanic and primordial. Then, images of the deep ocean, eons of geological time compressed into moments, showing tectonic plates shifting, trenches forming, and then, slowly, the construction of this very city, growing from the seafloor like a luminous coral reef. It's not just light, it's a living history book, a shared memory, communicated directly to your simulated consciousness. This isn't telepathy, not exactly, but a highly advanced form of bioluminescent data transfer, like a cosmic projector beaming information directly into your brain. You see their purpose, They are guardians, chroniclers, perhaps even caretakers of Earth's deep history, observing, but not interfering. Their existence seems tied to the planet itself, to the very geothermic processes that fuel their city. They are beings of pure energy and light, inhabiting a world of perpetual twilight, forever distant from the sun's harsh glare. They are the deep, silent observers for millions of years. This explains the USOs, the impossible speeds, the vanished craft. These aren't aliens asterisk from asterisk space. They are aliens asterisk of asterisk Earth, living in its darkest, deepest heart. Or perhaps they asterisk are asterisk from space, but found this perfect sanctuary, an ideal haven for their light-based existence. The distinction blurs in the face of such profound strangeness. The images fade, leaving behind a lingering sense of awe and a quiet understanding. The communication wasn't a warning, nor an invitation, but merely a sharing, a gesture of acknowledging your transient presence. You realize that the bloop might not have been icebergs or an unknown leviathan, but a communication attempt, a vast, resonant signal sent out across the planet by this very civilization, perhaps just checking in, sending a pulse to the world, a deep sea, are you still there? As your vessel drifts further into the city's labyrinthine interior, guided by the omnipresent glow, you pass through vast, domed laboratories where strange, crystalline instruments hum with contained energy. You see what appear to be nurseries, where smaller, newly formed versions of the light beings coalesce from swirling eddies of energy, nurtured by the city's warmth and light. It's a testament to a complete life cycle, alien and beautiful. Then you enter what seems like a vast archive, a colossal library where knowledge isn't stored in dusty tomes, but in pulsating, geometric patterns of light etched onto living crystal walls. You glimpse fleeting flashes of scientific diagrams that would make Stephen Hawking look like he was doodling on a napkin. Theoretical physics, cosmology, biological blueprints for creatures beyond human imagination, all presented in a form utterly incomprehensible to a surface dweller. It's a repository of knowledge so vast, so profound, it could dwarf all human understanding combined. You realize this is why they remain hidden, not out of malice or fear, but out of a deep-seated understanding of the fragility and immaturity of surface life. What would humanity do with such knowledge? Exploit it? Weaponize it? We barely understand how to share a planet with each other, let alone with a civilization that has transcended physical form as we know it. Their continued existence relies on their profound anonymity, a self-imposed isolation from the noisy, destructive creatures scurrying about on the sunlit surface. The sheer, monumental patience required to exist for millions of years, largely unnoticed. Quietly observing the evolution of a planet is mind-boggling. While we were painting on cave walls, they were charting stellar nurseries from the bottom of the ocean. While we were arguing over land ownership, they were mastering energy on a scale that could power continents. And yet, they chose silence. What a flex! You drift through what appear to be living transport tubes, shivering tunnels that pull you gently through the city's immense infrastructure. You pass through areas that might be manufacturing zones. Where new, intricately designed components for the city itself are grown from the luminous stone, tended by smaller, drone-like versions of the light beings. It's a continuous, organic process of self-renewal and expansion. A city that literally grows itself. This incredible revelation casts a new light on other deep-sea mysteries. The Yanaguni Monument, for instance. Was it perhaps an early, crude attempt by these beings to interact with the surface world, or a testing ground for materials before they retreated fully into the depths? Or maybe it was simply a natural formation, and our pattern-seeking brains were just primed for something more. After encountering the sheer alienness of this deep-sea civilization, the city's sheer age and technological prowess make such crude interactions unlikely for them. But perhaps for a different, long-gone phase of their development, or an offshoot group. The concept of deep-sea mining now seems not just ethically questionable, but utterly pathetic in the face of this. Imagine a mining dredge attempting to dig up some manganese nodules, only to accidentally break through the outer hull of this colossal, sentient city. It would be like a toddler with a toy shovel trying to dig up a nuclear power plant. The city wouldn't even register it, or perhaps it would simply reabsorb the metal, incorporating it into its ever-growing, glowing structure. The resources we crave on the surface are mere trinkets compared to the energy and materials these beings command. The journey feels timeless, an endless exploration of wonder and impossibility. You are a silent observer, granted a fleeting, impossible glimpse into a realm that no human eye was ever meant to behold. The absence of danger, of threat, is perhaps the most unsettling aspect. They don't see you as a threat, but simply as a fleeting, curious anomaly, a ripple in their eons-long existence. You are merely passing through. But then, as you navigate through a particularly grand thoroughfare, lined with towering, glowing columns that seem to reach into infinity, a subtle shift occurs. The rhythmic thrum that has been your constant companion throughout the city's interior begins to change. It becomes less uniform, more complex, like a symphony beginning to swell, adding new, intricate layers of bass and resonance. The light, too, pulses with a new intensity, a more rapid, almost excited rhythm. It's not alarming, but it's certainly different. More active. You realize that this increased activity isn't about you anymore. It's a response to something else. A response from outside. Suddenly, the ethereal, pervasive light within the city is momentarily dimmed, not by a power failure, but by a sudden external shadow. A colossal shadow, far larger than your simulated vessel, passes over the transparent sections of the city's outermost walls. It's a fleeting glimpse, but enough to send a jolt through your sleepy detachment. The shape is indistinct, but undeniably massive and moving with an incredible, impossible speed. It's too large to be a whale, too fast to be any known submarine. It's not one of the city's own light beings, either. This shadow is dark, opaque, absorbing the very light it passes over. This isn't an unknown USO. This is something different. Something from the deep, perhaps, but not of this city. A rival, a predator, or merely another, utterly alien inhabitant of the abyss, equally oblivious to surface life, and perhaps equally ancient? The deep ocean, it turns out, is a bigger neighborhood than you ever imagined. The light beings within the city react, their individual pulses quickening, their movements becoming more purposeful, almost agitated. They are not fleeing, but seeming to gather, to focus their collective energy towards the outer walls, towards the source of the external disturbance. The city's internal hum ramps up, shifting into a higher, more resonant frequency, as if preparing for something. A defense, a communication, or just a massive, deep-sea yawn? The shadow pauses again, closer this time, and you feel a faint, distant tremor resonate through the water, a vibration entirely distinct from the city's internal thrum. It's a solid, heavy impact, muffled by the immense water pressure, but undeniable. The shadow is interacting with the city, not passing by it. It's like a colossal, invisible fist knocking on the door of the underworld. The grand archway through which you entered, now behind you and sealed, glows with a more intense, defensive light. The very substance of the city seems to vibrate, a silent, internal alarm. Whatever is out there, it's not just passing by. It's here, and it's certainly not common heritage of mankind. More like common heritage of something else. This takes you back to those whispered naval reports of impossible speeds and depths, to the theoretical monsters lurking in the black. What if some of those were not USOs from this city, but from another intelligence, one perhaps less benign, or simply just different? The abyss, it turns out, isn't just a single hidden civilization. It's a multi-layered cake of mysteries, each deeper and weirder than the last. You remember the vast, uncharted 95% of the ocean, the biological dark matter. What if it's not just undiscovered creatures, but undiscovered intelligences? Different forms of life, different evolutionary paths, perhaps even different origins entirely, all coexisting in the crushing darkness, largely unknown to each other, and certainly unknown to us. It's a terrifyingly beautiful thought. The city's internal pulse becomes a frantic, yet still controlled, rhythm. The light beings are now actively moving, forming intricate swirling patterns that seem to funnel energy towards specific points along the inner surface of the outer wall, like preparing for a magical light show or perhaps a very high-tech deep-sea standoff. You are a helpless spectator, caught between two colossal, unseen forces in the darkest, deepest realm on Earth. You are acutely aware of your vulnerability, a tiny, fragile bubble of surface world technology in a realm where the rules of existence are rewritten. What happens if the city engages in a full-blown conflict? Would your vessel be caught in the crossfire? Would the sheer energetic output be enough to overload your systems? You're essentially parked in the living room of an alien superpower, while a giant, unidentified something is trying to kick down their front door. This is either the worst or best possible time to be sleepy. The outer walls of the city, previously opaque from the inside, now seem to ripple, becoming more transparent, like a giant, liquid membrane. You can vaguely make out the movement of something vast and dark outside, pressing against the glowing barrier, a persistent, probing presence. The contrast between the brilliant, contained light of the city and the utter, encroaching darkness outside is stark, a visual representation of the conflict. The very concept of a deep-sea war erupts in your mind. Not human nations squabbling over fishing rights or oil, but ancient. Unimaginable entities vying for dominance in a realm. So alien it makes outer space seem like your backyard. Who are these other inhabitants of the deep? Are they even biological or some other form of ancient, geomechanical life? The vibrating hum from the city now carries a new, sharper undertone, like a massive guitar string being pulled taut. And then, a burst of light erupts from the city's outer wall, not the soft, blue-green glow, but a focused, intense beam, almost laser-like in its precision, piercing the absolute blackness outside. It's a defensive pulse, a warning shot, perhaps, or an attempt at communication that is far more direct and forceful than the one you experienced. The shadow recoils just slightly, and then, with astonishing speed, it vanishes into the darkness, leaving behind only residual turbulence in the water and a lingering sense of immense, unmeasurable power. The city's internal thrum begins to slowly subside, the frantic light pulses calming, returning to their rhythmic, steady beat. The translucent beings relax their formations, resuming their graceful, silent drifts through the luminous chambers. The threat, whatever it was, has passed. For now, you are left with an even greater mystery than before. The deep ocean is not empty. It's not just teeming with undiscovered life. It's teeming with undiscovered civilizations. Ancient entities that operate on scales and timelines incomprehensible to humanity. The surface, with its fleeting sun and noisy inhabitants, is just a thin, ephemeral film above a vibrant, complex, and deeply secretive underworld. The implications for human exploration and our understanding of Earth's true nature are staggering. We thought we were alone, or at least the dominant intelligence. Now, you've seen proof that there are others, far older, far more technologically advanced, living beneath our very feet. And they're not just living. They're actively defending themselves from other unknown forces of the deep. It's a cosmic playground down here, and we've barely even scratched the surface of the sandbox. Your imaginary vessel, having witnessed this incredible, silent confrontation, feels compelled to withdraw, not out of fear, but out of a profound sense of respect and perhaps a touch of self-preservation. The city's light begins to dim slightly, a subtle signal that the brief moment of interaction is over, the veil of secrecy drawing closed once more. You turn your vessel slowly, heading back towards the grand archway that served as your entrance. As you approach, it silently begins to open, a seamless parting of the glowing stone, beckoning you back into the familiar, yet now infinitely more mysterious, blackness of the Absol plane. You carry with you not just memories, but a fundamental shift in perspective, a quiet, sleepy certainty that the universe is far, far stranger than any dream or nightmare. The silence of the deep, as you emerge back into it, feels heavier, pregnant with secrets that humanity may never truly unravel. The rhythmic thrum of the city fades behind you, becoming a faint memory, a phantom vibration in the water, but the knowledge of its existence, and the existence of whatever just challenged it will forever alter your perception of the deep. You begin your slow, upward ascent, leaving behind the impossible city, knowing that the most profound mysteries are not out among the stars, but right here, underfoot, waiting patiently in the dark. And as you rise, the pressure lessens, the cold returns, and you can't help but wonder what else is down there, still hidden, still breathing, just beyond the reach of human understanding. The ocean, it turns out, is a much bigger story than you could have ever imagined. You're barely even at the prologue. The surface world feels impossibly distant now, a fragile, noisy shell. And the deep, it beckons you forever. And the deep, it beckons you forever. The city's rhythmic thrum becomes a mere echo in your memory, a phantom beat against the growing silence. You drift away from its fading, ethereal glow, back into the familiar, crushing darkness of the Absol Plain. But it's not the same darkness. It's no longer an empty canvas, but a vast, silent stage where impossibly ancient dramas unfold, unseen by surface eyes. You've had a peek behind the curtain, and now the entire play feels different. Every shadow seems to hold a secret. Every current whispers of untold histories. The initial shock of witnessing that colossal, dark entity disappear, and the city's silent, energetic defense slowly gives way to a simmering realization. The deep isn't just home to *** lost civilization, but potentially * multiple *1s. It's like discovering that your quiet, sleepy neighborhood actually has a thriving underground community, and they're not all friends. Maybe some of them are just really good at hiding their turf wars. And perhaps, even more unsettling, some of those unidentified submersible objects that military types have tracked weren't just this city's vehicles. Maybe there are other vehicles belonging to other inhabitants, equally ancient, equally advanced, perhaps even less benevolent. The thought makes the bone-chilling cold of the deep feel just a little bit colder. As you slowly ascend, the pressure lessening inch by painstaking inch, the topography of the seafloor begins to shift again. No more glowing cities for now, but new mysteries unfold. You pass over vast stretches of sediment that aren't quite flat. They're subtly sculpted, as if by immense, slow-moving forces. Sometimes you spot strange, linear depressions that stretch for miles, too straight to be natural, yet too subtle to be obvious roads. Are these pathways for the dark, shadowy behemoth you just witnessed? Or are they the ancient equivalent of Roman roads for some other, as yet undiscovered subterranean intelligence? The ocean, it seems, is full of old, forgotten highways. You begin to observe something else on the Absol Plain, away from the immediate vicinity of the glowing city. Patches of seafloor that appear oddly disturbed, not churned by mining equipment, but rippled in a way that suggests something impossibly heavy has recently moved through, or even settled there for a time. Perhaps the very same massive, opaque entity from earlier, a creature or construct so vast it leaves a pressure footprint on the seabed itself. Imagine leaving a dent in the earth just by existing. Talk about having a bad day for your back. As your imaginary submersible continues its gradual climb through the water column, leaving the truly Hadal depths behind, you enter the Absol zone proper, that vast, truly dark expanse. Here, the temperature hovers just above freezing, a consistent, monotonous chill. But suddenly, a pocket of water several degrees warmer, carrying a distinct, sharp odor, brushes past your vessel. It's not the sulfuric scent of a hydrothermal vent, but something different, more metallic, almost briny. This, you realize, is likely a coal seep. Unlike their fiery, high-temperature cousins, coal seeps are areas where fluids rich in methane, hydrogen sulfide, and other hydrocarbons slowly seep out of the seafloor. They're often found on continental margins, where tectonic plates converge or where large sediment deposits accumulate. These are essentially nature's slow-release chemical factories, supporting their own unique chemosynthetic ecosystems. You see thick mats of white bacteria clinging to the sediment, resembling bizarre, ghostly carpets. Clustered around them are mussels, clams, and strange, pale tube worms, similar in form to those at hydrothermal vents, but often less vibrant, adapted to the lower energy flow. And the stars of the cold seep show? Methane ice worms. Yes, you heard that right. Actual worms that live on frozen methane hydrates, burrowing into these icy structures that form when methane gas and water combine under high pressure and low temperature. They're like something out of a sci-fi movie about aliens on Neptune. Imagine living on a chunk of frozen natural gas. It's not exactly a five-star resort, but hey, you do you. Methane ice worms. The existence of these ecosystems, driven by chemicals rather than heat, further reinforces life's stubborn refusal to play by conventional rules, popping up wherever there's an energy gradient to exploit. It also means that vast, seemingly barren stretches of the deep seafloor might be hiding entire communities of life, fueled by slow, steady leaks from beneath the crust. As you continue your vertical journey, you begin to notice other oddities in the water column itself. The biological dark matter isn't just a concept, it's everywhere. You encounter creatures that defy easy categorization. Some are like living, shimmering parachutes, drifting on unseen currents. Others are long, ribbon-like organisms, impossibly delicate, undulating with a mesmerizing grace. There are gelatinous blobs that pulse with faint, internal lights, their forms so ephemeral they barely register against the black. These aren't just fish, they're architects of soft tissue, masters of camouflage, and living light shows. Take the siphonophores, for instance. These aren't single organisms, but colonies of specialized individual zooids, each with a specific function, some for feeding, some for reproduction, some for propulsion. They can stretch for tens of meters, like living, underwater trains, beautiful and deadly, armed with stinging cells that can paralyze prey. Imagine being stung by something that's basically a biological rope. Not fun. And they're incredibly fragile, often disintegrating into a pile of goo if brought to the surface. It makes you wonder how many amazing, complex life forms simply dissolve before we can even study them. The ocean is just teasing us, isn't it? You almost had me. Oh wait, I just turned into soup. Then there are the bizarre migratory patterns. You're now in the bathypelagic zone, where light is a myth, but life still thrives. Many creatures here perform the largest migration on Earth every single day, the Deal vertical migration. As night falls on the surface, vast quantities of plankton, crustaceans, and small fish ascend from these depths to feed in the richer, but more dangerous, twilight zone and even surface waters. As dawn breaks, they descend en masse back into the protective darkness, avoiding predators from above. It's a massive, synchronized movement of biomass, a living tide rising and falling across miles of ocean, completely invisible to us unless we're looking. It's like rush hour traffic, but instead of cars, it's millions of squishy, glowing creatures. And instead of honking, it's, well, mostly silence, because everyone's trying not to get eaten. This daily commute shapes ocean ecosystems in profound ways, distributing nutrients and energy across vast depths. You also pass through layers of water that move with surprising speed. These are the deep ocean currents, massive, slow-motion rivers within the ocean, driven by differences in temperature and salinity, a process called thermohaline circulation. It is the global conveyor belt that moves water from the poles to the equator and back again, taking centuries to complete a full cycle. It distributes heat, nutrients, and oxygen, connecting distant ocean basins. Imagine an underwater waterfall, hundreds of meters high, where denser, colder water spills over a sill into a deeper basin. These are real. The Denmark Strait Cataract, for example, is a waterfall thousands of meters high and miles wide, where cold Arctic water cascades into the warmer Atlantic. It carries colossal amounts of water, affecting global climate patterns. It's proof that even the deep ocean is in constant, dynamic motion, never truly still. And sometimes, these deep currents carry things, evidence of surface life making its way down. You spot the ghostly remains of a whale fall, a colossal whale carcass that has sunk to the Absol plain. This isn't just a sad end for a magnificent creature. It's an entire ecosystem in itself. For years, sometimes decades, specialized organisms feast on the various parts of the whale, from scavenger hagfish that devour the flesh to zombie worms. Remember those Ozdax that consume the bones, dissolving them with acid. It's a slow-motion banquet, a temporary oasis of abundance in a food-scarce world, like finding an all-you-can-eat buffet in the middle of a desert. Each whale fall becomes a unique, isolated island of life, a testament to the ocean's intricate food webs and its relentless cycle of decay and rebirth. As you continue upwards, the water begins to take on a faint, almost imperceptible blue tinge, a ghostly reminder of the sun's distant presence. You are now entering the mesopelagic zone, the twilight zone, where the last vestiges of sunlight struggle to penetrate. Here, the creatures start to look a little more familiar, though still wonderfully bizarre. Bigger eyes are common again, designed to catch every stray photon. Many are counter-illuminated, meaning they produce light on their undersides to blend in with the faint light from above, making them invisible to predators looking up. It's like a biological stealth mode, developed millions of years before any human engineer even drew up blueprints for a stealth bomber. And then there are the sounds. The rhythmic thrum of the glowing city is long gone, replaced by a deep, resonant symphony of the deep. That low, insistent thrum that some hydrophones pick up. It might not be the asterisk bloop, but there are countless other deep sea noises. The groans of ancient icebergs, shedding colossal chunks of ice in the polar regions. The low, rumbling seismic activity from submarine volcanoes, constantly reshaping the seafloor. The distant, booming calls of fin whales, their ultra-low frequency songs traveling for thousands of miles. They're equivalent of a global chat network, the clicks and whistles of sperm whales, echolocating for giant squid in the darkness. It's a vibrant, constantly shifting soundscape, most of it completely inaudible to human ears, but a constant conversation in the liquid world. But now, amidst these natural symphonies, you start to pick up new sounds, unnatural sounds, the faint, high-pitched whine of propellers growing louder, the indistinct rumble of distant engines, and then the unmistakable, repetitive asterisk ping, ping, ping asterisk of active sonar. Humanity, we're still here, still noisy, still probing. You start to see signs of our presence, not just the acoustic ones. A tattered fishing net drifts past, a ghostly shroud, still tangled with the desiccated remains of a deep-sea fish that met an ignominious end. Then another, and another. Ghost fishing, they call it. These derelict nets that continue to snare marine life for years, silently killing long after they've been lost or abandoned. It's a grim testament to our impact, a stark reminder that even thousands of meters down, away from the sun, our waste finds its way. Then there are the plastics, tiny, almost invisible microplastics suspended in the water column, remnants of surface trash broken down by currents and time, and larger pieces too. A discarded soda bottle, a crumpled plastic bag, a fishing buoy, all slowly, inexorably sinking, carried down by the very same currents that sustain life. It's a sad, silent parade of our careless consumption, reaching into the very heart of the last wilderness. Historians will look back at this era and wonder if we truly understood the concept of out of sight, out of mind. Spoiler alert, we didn't. This brings us to the ultimate clash: human ambition versus the deep's profound secrets. The very existence of that glowing city, and whatever shadowy entity confronted it, throws a gigantic wrench into humanity's plans for deep-sea resource extraction. Imagine trying to deep-sea mine for polymetallic sulfides near a cold seep, only to accidentally disturb a colony of methane ice worms that turn out to be not worms. Or worse, you accidentally knock on the door of another hidden civilization. Oops, sorry, just trying to get some cobalt for my phone. Didn't realize you had a living room here. The sheer arrogance of our intentions, armed with so little knowledge, becomes almost comically tragic. The International Seabed Authority, tasked with regulating mining, must be having nightmares. How do you legislate for something you don't even know exists? How do you protect common heritage of mankind when some of that heritage might be actively hostile, or simply so far beyond us that protection is an irrelevant concept? The current debates about deep-sea mining are already a bureaucratic quagmire, full of ethical dilemmas, economic pressures, and environmental concerns. Now imagine adding potential interstellar diplomacy with ancient, energy-based entities to the agenda. Good luck with that. The phrase known unknowns suddenly seems quaint. We are now squarely in the realm of unknown unknowns, plus sentient glowing cities, plus whatever they just fought. As you continue your ascent, the subtle blue light strengthens, becoming a more discernible sapphire hue. The pressure on your imaginary vessel steadily decreases, a gradual loosening of the abyss's firm embrace. You feel a sense of profound change within yourself. The journey hasn't just been a physical descent, it's been a psychological one, a reordering of your understanding of the world. The surface world, with its sunlight and air, now seems small, contained, a noisy, bustling bubble on the thin skin of a planet whose true heart beats in the crushing darkness below. You realize that all those ancient myths, those whispered legends of krakens and hydras and cities swallowed by the sea, weren't just the product of overactive imaginations. They were perhaps distorted echoes, garbled transmissions from a reality far stranger and more profound than we ever dared to imagine. What if the monsters weren't just animals, but the glimpsed vessels or even inhabitants of these deep-dwelling intelligences? What if Atlantis wasn't just a rich island, but a brief, failed attempt by one of these groups to colonize the shallower waters? Before retreating back to their true, impenetrable domain, the possibilities are endless and gloriously unsettling. The deep ocean isn't just Earth's last frontier, it's its original frontier, the place where life likely began, and where intelligence may have evolved along paths entirely different from our own. While we were swinging from trees, they were charting galaxies. While we were arguing over land, they were navigating layers of pressure and mastering energies we can only dream of. The humility of this realization is immense. We are not alone on this planet, not by a long shot. We just haven't been looking in the right places, or rather, at the right depths. The light continues to grow, painting the water in deeper shades of blue, then turquoise, and finally, a faint, glimmering green from above. The temperature steadily rises, shaking off the bone-chilling cold of the abyss. You can feel the currents become more active, less sluggish, pulling you gently upwards. Particles of detritus, plankton, and even tiny, almost invisible fish start to appear in greater numbers, catching the filtering light. The deep is receding, but its secrets, its overwhelming presence, remain etched in your simulated consciousness. The journey has been an education in the impossible, a pilgrimage into the very heart of the unknown. And you've barely scratched the surface of what's truly down there. The city, the shadowy entity, the myriad forms of life, the hidden energies, the ancient pathways. They are just glimpses, tantalizing hints of a vast, complex, and still largely unexplored underworld. You feel a profound sense of anticipation, but also a quiet, almost melancholic understanding. The deep will continue to guard its secrets, long after humanity has forgotten its fleeting presence. But for you, the journey is not over. Not yet. You haven't reached the surface. You're merely transitioning, preparing for the next layer of mystery. The next chapter in this impossibly deep, endlessly fascinating story. The ocean still calls, promising more. The ocean still calls, promising more. And it delivers. As you ascend, the light isn't just growing stronger, it's changing quality, morphing from the deep sapphire of the lower Absol reaches into a vibrant, almost electric blue. It's the color you see in travel brochures, the kind that makes you want to pack a swimsuit. But you know better now. This isn't just pretty water. It's a vast, sun-dappled hunting ground. A place where evolution has gone wild with camouflage and speed. You're re-entering the mesopelagic, the twilight zone. But this time, you know what lies beneath. The knowledge of that glowing city, of the shadowy entity that challenged it, infuses every shimmering particle of plankton, every darting fish. with a new layer of profound mystery. Are these surface creatures even aware of the ancient dramas unfolding in the perpetual night below them? Do they feel the faint, distant vibrations of a defense pulse, mistaking it for a far-off whale song? Probably not. Ignorance, sometimes, is truly bliss, especially when your neighbors are thousands of meters below and might be capable of turning steel into pudding. The creatures here are different again. No longer the soft-bodied, gelatinous forms of the Hadal zone. These are sleek, muscular, built for speed and stealth. You see lanternfish, countless schools of them, their undersides studded with tiny, bioluminescent photophores, perfectly matching the faint light filtering down from above. It's a trick called counter-illumination, making them effectively invisible to predators looking up from below. They're basically the ocean's original stealth fighters, long before humanity figured out how to make planes disappear from radar. And they do it all without government grants or over-budget projects. Truly inspiring. You might spot a barrel-eye fish with its bizarre, upward-pointing tubular eyes enclosed in a transparent, fluid-filled dome on its head. It's like something out of a science fiction movie, where everyone got their heads wrong. Those eyes are designed to scan the faint light above for the silhouettes of prey. And then there's the humble squid. But not just any squid. The Humboldt squid, also known as the red devil, a notoriously aggressive, intelligent cephalopod found in these waters, can change its skin color in an instant, flashing red and white patterns to communicate or confuse prey. They hunt in packs, using their massive beaks and powerful tentacles. They're like the wolves of the mid-ocean, but with more tentacles and less howling. Though, if they could howl, they probably would. The water column itself is a highway of life, constantly moving. You remember the Deal vertical migration, that massive daily commute. You're now seeing it in action. Millions of creatures slowly ascending as the sun begins to set on the distant surface, driven by the eternal quest for food and the instinct to avoid becoming food themselves. It's a living, breathing escalator, pushing biomass up and down through miles of water every single day. The sheer energy expenditure is mind-boggling. A testament to the brutal efficiency of natural selection. Who needs a gym when you're constantly swimming up and down a kilometer of water just to eat? As you continue upwards, the water gets noticeably warmer. The cold, deep currents fade into memory, replaced by the more turbulent, dynamic movements of the upper ocean. The light transitions from deep blue to lighter shades, hints of green, and even a faint yellow starting to appear. You're nearing the epipelagic zone, the sunlit surface layer, where photosynthesis rules and life explodes in dizzying abundance. But even here, in the known parts of the ocean, mysteries abound. Take, for instance, the Bermuda Triangle. You remember the whispers, the legends of planes and ships vanishing without a trace. While most scientists attribute these disappearances to severe weather, unusual magnetic anomalies, or just plain old human error and bad luck, the tales persist. After what you've seen, the idea of purely natural explanations feels quaint. What if some of those disappearances weren't just weather, but an unfortunate encounter with something truly colossal? Something that moves at impossible speeds. Something that leaves no wreckage because it simply absorbs. Or perhaps a momentary spatial anomaly caused by an energy pulse from a deep-sea civilization. A hiccup in the fabric of reality near a hidden stronghold. It's fun to speculate, isn't it? Better than blaming poor navigation and faulty equipment. You spot colossal structures too, not carved stone, but immense geological features that still baffle geologists. Take the Great Blue Hole off the coast of Belize, a massive underwater sinkhole, over 300 meters across and 125 meters deep. It's a stunning natural wonder, a perfect circle of dark blue water surrounded by coral reefs. But it's also a time capsule. As you glide past, you can imagine ancient stalactites hanging upside down within its depths, formed when the hole was a dry cave during ice ages, millions of years ago, before the sea level rose and swallowed it whole. It makes you wonder how many other such geological wonders, how many other submerged caves and caverns still lie undiscovered, waiting to yield secrets from Earth's ancient past, or perhaps secrets of a different, more recent kind. Maybe some of those caves connect to deeper, more impossible places. Just a thought. And what about the sounds? The deep ocean, as you now know, is far from silent. But what about the other asterisk sounds? Beyond the bloop, beyond whale songs and seismic rumblings, hydrophones have picked up truly inexplicable noises. The whistle, a series of narrowband frequency whistles recorded in 1997, unlike any known animal. Or Julia, another ultra-low frequency sound from 1999, lasting for 15 seconds, its origins still unknown. While sometimes attributed to icebergs or volcanic activity, the persistence of these unique sound signatures adds to the ongoing acoustic mystery. It's as if the ocean is constantly communicating, broadcasting strange signals, and we're just picking up garbled bits and pieces on our very primitive receivers, trying to make sense of a conversation we weren't meant to hear. It's like listening to alien radio static, but the aliens are just under the waves. As the light continues to brighten, you begin to see the first hints of color beyond blue and green. The vibrant hues of a coral reef begin to emerge from the hazy depths, a kaleidoscope of life and structure. Coral reefs are often called the rainforests of the sea, teeming with an astonishing diversity of fish, invertebrates, and other marine life. But even these relatively well-known ecosystems hold their own quiet mysteries. How do these delicate, slow-growing structures recover from massive bleaching events caused by rising ocean temperatures? How do some species manage to survive in increasingly acidic waters as the ocean absorbs more carbon dioxide? It's a puzzle of resilience and vulnerability, a frantic race between natural adaptation and human-induced change. And you, in your imaginary vessel, feel a pang of melancholy, knowing what we stand to lose. Even in the sunlit surface layers, the sheer volume of human impact becomes undeniable as you get closer to the surface. You pass through swaths of water visibly clouded by microscopic plastic particles, a shimmering, insidious soup that permeates everything. These aren't the large, obvious pieces of trash, but the broken-down remnants of bottles, bags, and fishing gear, so small they're ingested by plankton, making their way up the food chain, ultimately ending up in the fish we eat. It's a sobering reminder that our throwaway culture has no way in the ocean. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch, that infamous swirling vortex of plastic, isn't a solid island you can walk on. It's more like a plastic smog, hundreds of miles wide. A constant, silent threat to marine life. And it's not just the Pacific. Every ocean basin has its own version of this environmental catastrophe. You start to hear the familiar sounds of human activity more clearly now. The distant thrum of cargo ships carrying goods across vast distances. The slap of waves against hulls. The occasional, higher-pitched whine of a recreational boat. You might even catch the muffled shouts of people, their voices carrying strangely through the water, like ghosts of the surface world. It's a stark contrast to the deep, silent rhythms of the Absol city, and a loud, messy intrusion into the natural symphony of the ocean. This noise pollution is a significant and often overlooked modern deep-sea mystery. How does this constant barrage of sound affect marine animals that rely on acoustics for communication, navigation, and hunting? Whales, for instance, use complex songs that can travel for thousands of miles. How do they find mates or detect predators when their acoustic landscape is increasingly dominated by the ceaseless hum of shipping or the piercing blasts of seismic surveys? Scientists are only just beginning to unravel the long-term impacts. But initial findings suggest disorientation, stress, and even mass strandings. It's like trying to have a nuanced conversation at a heavy metal concert that never ends. Good luck. Then there's the more direct human presence, fishing. You see immense trawlers, their nets scraping along the seafloor, indiscriminately scooping up everything in their path. Target species, yes, but also vast quantities of bycatch, unwanted fish, corals, and other deep-sea life. This isn't just a surface problem. Deep-sea trawling is one of the most destructive fishing methods, destroying habitats that have taken centuries to form in a matter of minutes. The slow growth rates of deep-sea species mean that recovery is often impossible within human time scales. It's efficient, yes, but at what cost to ecosystems we barely understand? You pass through areas where the seafloor is scarred by these operations. Vast swathes of pulverized coral and churned-up mud, resembling a muddy battlefield. It's a chilling reminder of the insatiable human demand for resources, pushing us further and further into the unknown, leaving devastation in our wake. And you wonder, what if those trawlers accidentally dragged their nets through a pristine, previously unknown area? Perhaps even something connected to that glowing city? Or, more comically, what if they snagged an ancient deep-sea artifact and just tossed it overboard because it wasn't? A fish probably happened a lot. As you near the true surface, you feel a final, profound shift. The water is no longer a crushing weight, but a buoyant embrace. The light is blindingly bright, filtering down in dancing rays, illuminating countless schools of fish shimmering and darting in a ballet of survival. You see jellyfish pulsing gracefully, their bells catching the light like living stained glass. Dolphins arc through the water, their playful clicks and whistles echoing all around you. It's a vibrant, chaotic, endlessly beautiful world, full of life, energy, and relentless competition. But even here, in the supposedly well-known surface waters, some marine cryptids refuse to be debunked. While the megalodon is widely considered extinct, The occasional blurry photo or tantalizing report of a massive, impossibly powerful shark still sparks debate. What if the deep ocean, with its countless hidden layers, provides a sanctuary for a few rare, ancient survivors? Or what about colossal squid sightings that defy current understanding, suggesting forms far larger than even the specimens we've formally identified? The ocean is a master of surprises, and it holds onto its biggest secrets with a tenacious grip. You break the surface with a gentle splash, your simulated vessel bobbing lightly on the waves. The sun, a warm, golden orb, feels almost alien after your long journey into the perpetual night. The air, crisp and fresh, is a luxury, filling your lungs with every breath. You look out at the vast, shimmering expanse of the ocean, stretching to the horizon, meeting the impossibly blue sky. It looks familiar, comforting, but you know better now. The ocean you see from the surface is just a thin, transparent skin. Beneath it lies a world of unimaginable scale, of crushing pressures and searing heat, of bizarre life forms and ancient intelligences, of hidden cities and shadowy entities. A world where human history is but a fleeting blink, and where secrets have been kept for millions of years. The journey has transformed your perception of reality. Every ripple on the surface, every wave crashing on the shore, every distant ship on the horizon now carries the weight of 1,000 untold stories from the abyss. The Bermuda Triangle isn't just a quirky anomaly, it's a potential doorway. The bloop isn't just an iceberg, it's a possible whisper from depths beyond our comprehension. Deep-sea mining isn't just an economic venture, it's an ethical tightrope walk across the potential living rooms of ancient, powerful beings. You realize that your ascent has merely brought you to the beginning of a different kind of exploration. The deep ocean isn't just a place to visit. It's a profound, living entity, a constant source of wonder, terror, and relentless mystery. It challenges our assumptions, humbles our ambitions, and expands our understanding of what life and intelligence can truly be. The sun begins to dip towards the horizon, painting the sky in fiery hues of orange and purple. The ocean reflects the changing light, shimmering like liquid gold. A gentle breeze picks up, carrying the scent of salt and distant land. You are back in the familiar world, but the deep has left its indelible mark. And as the last rays of sunlight stretch across the water, illuminating the endless expanse, you know this journey isn't truly over. Not when 95% of the ocean remains unexplored. Not when ancient cities hum with life thousands of meters below. Not when colossal shadows still stalk the abyss. There are countless more layers to peel back, countless more secrets to uncover. The deep ocean calls, not just promising more, but demanding more of your attention, your curiosity, your all. And as the stars begin to emerge in the twilight sky, mirroring the bioluminescent wonders you just left behind, you know you'll be back. Because the ocean has only just begun to tell its story. And its deepest chapters, my friends, are perhaps the most profound, the most humbling, containing not just geological wonders or biological marvels, but fundamental truths about life itself, truths whispered by ancient forces and cradled in the crushing darkness of realms beyond our common reach. You've journeyed from the sun-drenched surface, where sunlight dances on playful waves, to the unimaginable pressures of the Hadal Zone, where the very concept of up and down loses its meaning. In the profound, all-encompassing stillness, you've witnessed glowing cities that hum with an internal ancient life, their precise impossible architecture defying every human notion of engineering. And you felt the unsettling tremor of a colossal shadowy entity, a fleeting ripple of power that challenged this deep-dwelling metropolis before vanishing into the opaque liquid night. That encounter, that silent confrontation between the known impossible and the utterly unknown, lingers in your mind like a dream too vivid to simply dismiss, a quiet, persistent whisper from the abyss reminding you that our understanding of this planet, and perhaps of consciousness itself, is laughably wonderfully incomplete. A mere sketch on a canvas vast beyond imagining. We once believed the ocean floor was a flat, barren expanse. Then we found mountains, then glowing oases, then thriving cities. But even after all that, after glimpsing worlds within worlds, you begin to perceive there's a layer of mystery even more fundamental, even more pervasive than a hidden civilization, a secret woven into the very fabric of Earth's existence. Imagine, if you were venturing even deeper than the ocean floor itself, past the thick layers of diatomaceous ooze and accumulated sediment, past the solid bedrock of the oceanic crust, into the planet's mantle, into the beating geological heart of this world. This is the realm of the deep biosphere, a universe of microbial life that thrives in the infinitesimal cracks and microscopic pores of the rock, kilometers beneath the seafloor, existing in conditions that defy our every surface-bound expectation. For millennia, our limited scientific minds theorized that life was an exclusively surface phenomenon, absolutely dependent on the sun's warm, nourishing embrace. Then, with the serendipitous discovery of hydrothermal vents, we grudgingly accepted life could exist in perpetual darkness, sustained by raw chemical energy. But now, scientists are meticulously, painstakingly piecing together evidence of entire ecosystems existing without any connection to the sun's light or the surface's air, living off the primordial energy of geological processes, literally feasting on minerals and breathing the very components of rock. We're talking about forms of bacteria, archaea, and fungi that flourish at staggering temperatures and pressures in environments that would make even the most hardened conventional extremophile pack its bags and go home, perhaps muttering something about a no vacancy sign. Some of the most conservative estimates now suggest that this enigmatic deep biosphere could contain more biomass than all the visible life on the surface combined, a silent, unseen majority, diligently working, constantly transforming the planet's chemistry. Think about that. Most of Earth's living tapestry might be hidden away in the dark, hot, rocky embrace of the planet's interior, quietly humming along, completely oblivious to our existence or our incessant need for a stable Wi-Fi connection. It's like discovering a whole new planet right under our noses, but inverted, a mirror image of our noisy, bustling surface world, yet far more ancient and enduring. These are the ultimate survivors, the true pioneers of Earth's most extreme environments, perhaps even the direct descendants of the first life forms that sparked into existence on a nascent, volcanic Earth. Their very presence fundamentally changes our understanding of what life is, how it can adapt, and where it can exist, not just on our blue marble, but across the vast, stardusted cosmos. If life can thrive in such unimaginable conditions beneath our feet, what impossible wonders might be flourishing beneath the icy crusts of distant moons like Europa or Enceladus, nurtured by subsurface oceans and geothermal warmth? Historians of science, if they ever possess the hindsight to truly grasp our era, might well consider the slow, painstaking unraveling of the deep biosphere's secrets as one of humanity's most profound revelations, right up there with deciphering the human genome or gazing at the first images of distant galaxies, because it expands our definition of vitality itself. This vast, hidden microbial world also holds unimaginable potential for us surface dwellers. Beyond just the sheer philosophical awe, these extremophiles, these tiny titans of survival, have evolved utterly unique enzymes, astonishing proteins, and biochemical pathways of bewildering complexity to cope with their brutally harsh environments. What if their ancient biochemical secrets could revolutionize medicine, creating entirely new classes of antibiotics to fight superbugs, or novel cancer treatments that target diseases with unprecedented precision? What if they hold the key to new forms of clean energy production, harvesting power from geothermal gradients, or even ingenious solutions for environmental remediation, consuming pollutants in ways we can only dream of? The deep ocean and the deep earth beneath it isn't just a potential resource for mineral extraction. It's a living, breathing library, an invaluable, constantly expanding repository of biological innovation, forever evolving, forever surprising us. With its stubborn ingenuity, it calls to us, not with a roar, but with a quiet, patient hum, inviting us to learn, to observe, to respect, before we ever think of plundering. But with this burgeoning knowledge, with every new, breathtaking discovery, comes, as our friendly neighborhood web-slinger's uncle so wisely mumbled, an even greater responsibility. The very act of exploring these depths, of pushing our technologically advanced submersibles and precise drills into these pristine, ancient realms, carries an inherent, undeniable risk. We're explorers, yes, driven by an insatiable, almost childlike curiosity, but we're also clumsy giants, capable of wielding immense power and causing irreversible damage, often without even truly understanding the full ramifications of our actions. The pervasive plastic pollution that already permeates every single layer of the ocean, a shimmering insidious soup of microparticles, the ceaseless noise pollution from global shipping lanes, and powerful sonar pulses that disorients and harms its sensitive inhabitants. The destructive drag of deep-sea trawlers that obliterates centuries-old fragile habitats. In a matter of minutes, these are already stark, damning reminders of our heavy, often thoughtless footprint. And now the terrifyingly looming threat of industrial deep-sea mining poised to rip apart environments we barely understand, to potentially silence entire ecosystems that have existed in quiet harmony for millions of years, raises the stakes even higher, casting a long, disturbing shadow over the planet's last true wilderness. Do we, as a relatively young and often impetuous species, truly have the inherent right to disturb such an ancient, delicate balance, merely for more ephemeral trinkets and fleeting technological advancements on the surface? Or does the very existence of such profound, hidden life demand a different, more humble approach? The ethical debate surrounding the deep ocean is, therefore, far more complex, far more nuanced than just a simple balancing act between immediate economic gain and long-term environmental protection. It's about a profound, almost existential, philosophical question. What is our true place, our true role in a planet teeming with such ancient, hidden life, with intelligences perhaps unimaginably older and more subtly evolved than our own? Is it to dominate, to exploit without question, to ruthlessly conquer every last frontier? Or is it to listen with genuine humility, to learn with boundless curiosity, to protect with unwavering resolve, and ultimately to exist in respectful, profound coexistence? Acknowledging our shared space on this magnificent blue marble, the deep ocean silence, that profound, all-encompassing quiet often holds the loudest, most undeniable answers if only we would truly listen, not just with our sophisticated hydrophones and robotic probes, but with the quiet, reflective parts of our hearts and the expansive corners of our minds. It's a call to reevaluate our position, to remember that the grand story of Earth doesn't revolve solely around us, but around an intricate, ancient tapestry of life, much of which we are only just beginning to even glimpse. As you drift here now far from the crushing depths, floating gently on the calm, undulating rhythm of your own slow, steady breath, the echoes of your astonishing journey through the deep ocean begin to softly dissipate, melting into the comforting stillness and familiar contours of your room. The blinding electric blue of the surface world with its bustling energy. An endless noise gently fades into the deep, calming indigo of twilight, a hue that perfectly mirrors the profound depths you visited, but without the immense pressure, without the bone-chilling cold. The vastness of the ocean, once a terrifying, almost claustrophobic, crushing weight of unknown, now feels like a warm, infinitely encompassing blanket, a silent, benevolent guardian quietly resting beneath the very ground of your dreams. You're no longer sinking into the dark, but rather floating, suspended weightlessly between the receding edges of wakefulness and the gentle embrace of true sleep, held tenderly by the immense, quiet presence of a world unseen, yet deeply felt. The shimmering image of that glowing city, that pulsating, living heart deep beneath the waves, becomes a softer, more ethereal vision, a beautiful, impossible dream that whispers of untold possibilities and ancient secrets. The colossal shadowy entity that fleetingly challenged it. That momentary ripple of raw, unimaginable power dissolves seamlessly into the gentle shifting shadows of your quiet room. Its immense presence now merely a story, a comforting whisper on the very edge of sleep. You realize with a deep settling calm that the truly profound discoveries in life aren't always about what tangible things we find, but about how those incredible discoveries profoundly change us, how they stretch the boundaries of our imagination and deepen our reverence for the vast, beautiful unknown. The deep ocean isn't just a place on a map or a target for scientific missions. It's a state of mind, a boundless, endlessly unfolding realm where wonder never truly ends, where the impossible gently, exquisitely touches the real, and where life in all its astonishing, persistent forms, stubbornly, miraculously persists, always finding a way even in the most unthinkable, most challenging conditions. Let the gentle sway of the ocean's imagined currents the soft, cool embrace of its tranquil depths, lull you into a profound, restorative slumber, knowing, with a quiet certainty, that beneath the bustling surface of everyday life, beneath the thin, fragile veil of what we think we know, there are endless, shimmering layers of beauty, complexity, and quiet, ancient wisdom waiting patiently, breathing softly. In the dark, forever out of sight, yet forever present, the ocean, with its boundless secrets and its profound silences, holds you gently now, a vast, comforting presence in the quiet night, whispering of wonders yet untold, of stories still waiting to be discovered, not with noisy submersibles and piercing sonar, but perhaps in the quiet reflective moments just before true dreams take hold, where the boundaries of reality softly blur, and the impossible becomes a serene, comforting truth, a gentle lullaby for a curious mind. Rest now deeply, truly rest, held safe and warm in the gentle, endless current of sleep, knowing that the magnificent deep ocean continues, its quiet, majestic existence a constant, loving reminder of the infinite, awe-inspiring wonders that lie just beyond our sight, patiently, eternally waiting for another curious mind to wonder, and to quietly, peacefully sleep.